And so when I say Chinese, I want you to scream out the nation that's associated with this. For example, if I say Chinese, you're going to say what?
China.
All right, let's say it with authority. When I say Chinese, you say what? China. All right, that's just a test right there. So here we go. Chinese.
China.
Russian.
Russia.
Italian.
Italy.
German.
Germany.
Swedish.
Sweden.
Korean.
Korea.
Egyptian.
Egypt.
Nigerian.
Nigeria.
Black.
Exactly. Nothing. Tell him, Pastor. Tell him, Pastor. Black, nothing.
I hope you were able to successfully identify the issue.
The lion won't sleep tonight, 'cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the lion won't sleep tonight, 'cause we woke now, and we woke now. They want us to sell our souls to barter profit, like God's property is hard to market. So we steady to aim, keep your eyes on target, 'cause when you got to drive, yeah, they'd rather you park it. But I don't valet, you ain't getting these keys. I'm keeping closed hands, I'm on bended knee. I'm just a reflection, dealing with 8 sections. Art mixed with life, you can feel the convection. Your lion won't sleep tonight, 'cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the lion won't sleep tonight, 'cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the
I don't believe that the Jewish state and modern Zionism would have been possible without Christian Zionism. Christian Zionism. Christian Zionism. The Jewish state and modern Zionism would have been possible without Christian Zionism. I think that the many Christian supporters of the rebirth of the Jewish state and the ingathering of the Jewish people in the 19th century made possible the rise of Jewish Zionism.
Were I a Jew, I would be a Zionist. And my father pointed out to me, I did not need to be a Jew to be a Zionist, for I am. Israel is essential to the security of Jews worldwide.
I'm delighted to present my latest book, In Defense of Israel. This book will expose the sins of the fathers and the vicious abuse of the Jewish people. In Defense of Israel will shake Christian theology. It scripturally proves that the Jewish people as a whole did not reject Jesus as Messiah. It will also prove that Jesus did not come to earth to be the Messiah. Jesus did not come to earth to be the Messiah. Jesus did not come to earth to be the Messiah. It will prove that there was a Calvary conspiracy between Rome, the high priest, and Herod to execute Jesus as an insurrectionist too dangerous to live. Since Jesus refused by word and deed to claim to be the Messiah, how can the Jews be blamed for rejecting what was never offered? Read it in this shocking expose, In Defense of Israel.
So, a little over 1,000 years ago, as Jewish people scattered around the world had now emigrated in Europe and now were living in the Rhineland in Germany. They looked at the name Gomer in Genesis 10, and they connected Gomer with Germany, so they took on the identity of the name Ashkenaz. It has nothing to do with Ashkenaz in the Bible, which is a descendant of Japhet. It's just a name that was taken, okay? It's that simple. Just like my last name, Brown, doesn't refer to the color of my skin or anything else. It was shortened from a Russian name when my grandfather came over at Ellis Island. The name got shortened to Brown. It's just a name. That's all it is. So the idea that Ashkenazi Jews are descended from Japhet is a myth, 100% false.
Today, it is prohibited, and you can Google this, to do a DNA test in Israel. Totally forbidden. Wrong. It's illegal. It's a crime. You'll be jailed if you do a DNA test in Israel. Why? Because they know the truth will come out. You come from Poland, you come from Ukraine, you came from Europe, you came from everywhere else. And they were the original Middle Eastern Jews who lived together with the Muslims and the Christians for centuries. For centuries. So what happened to a lot of the Jews?
You know what you are? You're an ancient Israelite.
Ancient Israel, that's who we are. That's who we are. So if you give me time, if you give me time, already said,
No, we don't have
so many years.
I know. Look at this. This is pages and pages of notes. And I promise we'll give more teaching. But here is my challenge to you.
All right.
I'm hearing some of your traditions. It's like the days of the Bible.
Yes.
Do you want to remain ancient Israelites or you want to be Jews? Do you want to remain ancient Israelites or you want to be Jews?
The Jews are black, and their originally homeland would come from Ethiopia, and that was over 12,000 years. That's where they sprang from, and that's another thing. Here's the continent of Africa, but they say that's Middle East. That's part of Africa, but they changed the name.
Yes.
To just throw you off, okay?
KJ, you gotta come here, all right? I gotta show you.
I gotta leave soon, man.
I know you have
I gotta
to
get
leave.
out of
Listen
here.
to me. Okay, so I'm watching TV like a year ago, all right? I'm watching one of those History Channel shows, trying to learn. And I stumble. You ever hear African Jews?
African Jews?
Yeah. No, right? No.
Looking for everybody to be a Jew.
Check this out. I don't know, all right? So these are black Jews, all right? They're stranded in the middle of Ethiopia.
Now I can't figure it out. If y'all are the chosen ones, shouldn't y'all be obeying better than me? I mean, I even try to keep the fourth commandment. Try to keep the Sabbath day holy. I've spent many of hours trying to figure out which is the right Sabbath day, 'cause we know that old Catholic Church, something a little fishy about them, don't we? With that white Jesus. I mean, here's a white guy telling you black people that your Messiah is not a long-haired white European guy. Your Messiah is Hebrew, my darker-skinned brothers and sisters. When are you guys going to wake up and become kings and queens?
That's why I'm convinced Jesus was black, you know, because he hasn't come back yet. Like, that's the... He said, I will be back at an hour that you least expect it. That is the blackest thing I've ever heard in my life. He's going to confuse the hell out of everybody, all the white people when he comes back, too, because he's like, it's been a minute. White people will be like, it's been 2,000 years, Jesus. What are you talking about?
Why do you think that the U.S. is so quick to go help Israel fight against the Palestinians? Why? They know that the Jewish people in Israel are not the original people. Oh, no. They are definitely not. The original people are black people and people of color. So why did one lady, Judith Shore, she was an Israeli consul, say that the biggest threat in Israel is the younger black community. What? Why do they feel so threatened? Why? Why? Because you know why? They know that the black people were the original chosen ones, the original ones that were there. The people over there now, they took over all that land, just like they're trying to take over all of Palestine. They have taken so much land from Palestine also. But watch what this lady says about the black community being Israel's biggest problem. The black community being Israel's biggest problem. The black community.
The major problem of Israel is with the young generation of the black community. Black Lives Matter starts there. I had last week sit-down dinner at my house with all the people which are considered the leadership of the black community.
I woke up, man, this morning with some disturbing news out of Israel. That Hamas kidnapping children, putting them in cages, killing women, killing the elderly. That's some cowards. That's cowardly. And for all y'all Black Lives Matter who ain't saying nothing, well, let me figure out exactly what happened before I say anything. Well, figure out what? It ain't never been cool to kidnap kids and put them in cages. It ain't never been cool to kill women and elderly. Never been. No matter where you from, what you represent, what tribe you from, it don't matter. There ain't never been no cool. There ain't never been none that nobody supported. And then you go and hide and put the kids in front of you as a barricade. That's some cowards. All you politicians who always have something to say on the contrary, I see you. All you Black Lives Matter people who always have something to say and always supported everything else, and you quiet now, too. Only place in the world where I can go and study Torah and eat kosher food. Only place in the world. Only place in the world.
History. What do you know about black history? Let me ask you a question. Prior to the transatlantic slave trade in the 1600s, what was your nationality? What did you call yourself? Some may say African. Well, Africa is a continent, and in that continent, there's over 47 different countries in there. Which one do you come from? What language did you speak prior to the 1600s? Was it English? There's over 1,500 dialects being spoken in the land of Africa. Pick one. This is Brooklyn, St. Michael with the School of Aquaponics. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is the Aquaponics Guide Manual. This is something that I'm extremely proud of. I'm extremely proud of this. This is something that's going to be very valuable in the aquaponic community to those that get their hands on this aquaponic guide manual. This here is the official. I don't know what anybody else is talking about, what's in their book, but this here is the official guide to aquaponics. If I would have had this, it's been about 8 years since I left the Israelite movement, and now I'm getting a chance to finally explain the reason why I left. I used to go by the name of Brother Yerushalayim, and I used to teach the Israelite identity.
Genesis chapter 11 verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you.
Say peace and blessings to everyone. Hope all is well with you guys. I want to say Shalom Lach, Mash Pakha. I want to say again, peace and blessings to you guys. I hope you guys had a blessed Shabbat. I hope and pray that you guys had a blessed Shabbat. And tonight we're going to continue to piggyback off of last night, because I know that because of the way that we've been hacked, how we've been processed to address scripture, this has really been something, or that approach by those that have oppressed us, that hacked into our understanding of the text to superimpose their agenda over our understanding of the text. Right? So with that being said, last night we dealt with truly the antichrist. Now, if you guys remember last night, I had to really walk you guys through to completely wipe away, to completely remove the poor understanding of how we were taught about the antichrist. See, when we think about the antichrist, we think about like the movie The Omen and those type of things, those movies. But when we read the scriptures, when we read 1 John chapter 2, as we proved, the antichrist was already among the Israelites. The antichrist, right, was among the Israelites, and many of them began to separate. So the antichrist has always been among the Israelites. The antichrist, as the Messiah warned us, as Christ warned us, wolves in sheep's clothing. In other words, they're going to look just like you and I. They're going to be speaking like you and I. They're going to be teachers. And then guess what? You're going to know truly who they are when they start separating themselves. In family, we have to completely erase how we've been taught to process the son of perdition, to process the antichrist. We have to completely let go of that Eurocentric, oppressive theology that was pressed on all of us. I know it can be hard when we see people that have helped you, because I see the testimonies. I saw the comments in his videos. I saw the comments in his aquaponics videos, and I saw the comments in, I know that he helped a lot of you guys in getting into this awakening. But see, John makes it clear there is a difference of being among the truth versus being truthful. Let me say that again. There's a difference between walking in the truth versus being among the truth. See, when you are among the truth, doesn't necessarily mean that you are being truthful. That's why it's so easy. That's why we see in so many of our brothers and sisters falling away. Now, for me, when I look at the date of that video, 8 years later, a month ago, is where he released that video to explain his story. Why did it take 8 years? Why did it take the beginning of what's happening over in Israel for the brother to release his video? Things like that raise questions for me. I pay attention to the details because I listened to his video and he's completely walked away from the scriptures, not just the Hebrew Israelite community. He walked away from the scriptures altogether. But why did he have to place the point of emphasis on the Hebrew Israelites? Because when you listen to his testimony, he shares how he grew up in the church. He shares how he had a lot of questions that was not answered by Christianity. But then he began to search YouTube for answers, and he came across some camps, a camp, and they helped him. They helped answer certain questions, but when I listened to the video going even further, he mentioned he had questions that he couldn't get answers for. Questions that he couldn't get answers for that he never even addressed. He never said what those questions were. Didn't use any scriptures. Didn't do any of those things. So family, all I'm saying is this, we have to stop supporting the delusion. We have to stop making excuses for when our brothers and sisters have fallen away, whether they blessed us or not. That's the thing about understanding prophecy. That's the bittersweet when it comes to this prophecy. The sweet side is seeing the fulfillment of the prophecy. The bitter side is when you see brothers and sisters that may have done a lot in your life fall away. The brothers and sisters that you admired fall away. So family, and I saw some of the comments in the comment section of last night's video of a handful trying to justify and trying to say that, the antichrist, the Gentiles. Family, and I want to say this, please don't post any comments inside the comment section until you watch the full video. But again, I'm not trying to knock that brother. You know what I mean? He has to stand before the Most High for whatever, for and be accountable for his walk. I'm not here to try to bash anyone, but I want to bring out the truth. I want to call it what it is according to Scripture. John would have called that and would have labeled that as being antichrist. Dwelled among us and removed himself. And it's not just him, it's others that are doing this. Others that are doing this. So that's why I wanted to kind of preface this video, this teaching, by allowing you to see the illustration of what I highlighted. Now, that's what I stated when I taught about the Great Awakening. Part of the Great Awakening is going to be what? The Great Falling Away. Let me say that again. Part of the Great Awakening is the Great Falling Away. 2 Thessalonians, when is really highlighting that it highlights that strong delusion. It highlights that son of perdition. But the key is that strong delusion is not for those that have accepted the truth and walking in it. It's for those that have the truth and walked away from it. That's the falling away. That's what you guys will call, many of you guys will call Nephilim. Nephilim is not only giants, but it also means falling away, apostasy. That's what Nephilim also means. It means tyrants, apostasy, falling away. So we're witnessing the great falling away. You cannot fall away from something if you don't know what you're falling away from. You cannot fall away from something you don't know about. That means that you are lost. You are in the dark. So when you're in the dark about something and then the truth come to you, now you have a decision. Are you going to embrace that truth and walk in it? Or are you going to embrace that truth and walk away from it? That is the falling away. I'm taking an approach like the Messiah did with the young ruler, the rich young guy in Matthew chapter 19. He asked him a question. What must I do to obtain eternal life? And the Messiah answered, keep the commandments. And he began to quote from the covenant. He began to quote from the 10 commandments. But when it was all said and done, after that young person, that young ruler said, hey, I did all those things. He said, okay, sell your stuff, sell out, and completely follow me. And that young guy walked away. He walked away because he had many possessions. The Messiah didn't go chasing after him. Why? Because he knew better. Everything that he did was calculated. When I say he knew better, that rich young ruler, he called himself trying to call out the Messiah to challenge him. And the commandments that he highlighted from the 10 was the things that that rich young ruler struggled with. So family, let's stop chasing behind those that are making it, that are blatantly throwing it in your face. Their agendas, regardless of whether or not they look like you and I, regardless of how attached you may be to them. So, family, I just want to take a little time out just to kind of follow up from last night's lesson. And if you haven't seen it, I encourage you guys, go back over and watch that lesson. We dealt with the Antichrist. And we're going to go back over the son of perdition because there is a distinction between the two. Even though ultimately the agenda is still the same, but there is a distinction from the two. The Antichrist, guess what, has been among us. And no, it's not just strictly the other nations for those that believe that. No, the Antichrist looks like you and I. They start with our own brothers and sisters. Was not Judas, whose Hebrew name would be Judah or Yahwadah? What did he do? Did he not betray the Messiah? Did he not operate in the spirit of anti? Did not our brothers and sisters during that time, did they not betray the Messiah? Did they become anti when they asked for the murderer Barabbas to be let go? Someone who is a murderer versus the one who made it clear that he is the restorer of life. He's the resurrection. They said, no, crucify him, hang him. Those wasn't non-blood descendants of Israel. That was Israel who betrayed the Messiah. That spirit of the Antichrist is real, family. And we as a people have to stop allowing our emotions to get in the way and really do things according to the spirit of Yah, the Holy Spirit. John said it, he made it clear, and this is going back to 60 AD. He said the Antichrist, plural, was already among them. All right. So I just want to take a little time for that. But let's get into this lesson here. We're going to pick up where we left off. So I'll say this again, family. One thing about prophecy, I love the prophecy. I love to see how things are playing out, but it's bitter as well because there's so many of our brothers and sisters, family members, people that you love and care about that are not going to make it according to the scriptures. That's a fact. That's the side of the prophecy that many don't want to talk about. So let me go back over. I'm not going to do the full lesson, but I'm just going to highlight the son of perdition, some of the key tribes there, and we're going to bring it all together and show you that there is a distinction between the son of perdition versus the Antichrist. And we could put plural on it. So let's go ahead and get into it. The Antichrist comes from within the fold. Let me say that again. The Antichrist comes from within the fold, comes from within the house, comes from within the bloodline, comes from within the sheep. The Antichrist is already, has been among the brethren, like Judas. Judas was among the brethren. He was a disciple. So the Antichrist comes from within. Guess what? If the Messiah came from within, guess what? The Antichrist is going to come from within. Let me say that again. Christ came from within our community. And guess what? The Antichrist is going to what? Come from within our community. The son of perdition comes from a specific group of people. Let me say that again. And this is where we're going to make the distinction here. The son of perdition comes from a specific group of people. Now, let me play this again. This is a video I played earlier. This video is, you guys saw this video here. This is the video I want to play over again. But let me play it over again so we could really use this to help set up this lesson as we deal with the son of perdition. Let's go ahead and get to the video. Here's the video. Let's see here. I just had the video. All right, here we go. All right. Now it looks like I saw some no sounds there. Did you guys hear this last video? Let me play it one more time. Sound like you guys said you didn't hear any sound. Let me play it one more time. If not, it must be StreamYard because I played it earlier with sound. Let's try one more time. I'll play it one more time for you guys. Let's try this again. Now, can you guys hear my voice? If you guys can hear my voice, type 1. All right. Can you guys hear my voice? All right. I see some ones there. All right. So let me share this video again. Let me play this video again. All right. Let me play it again. I'm not going to play it from within the PowerPoint. So let's do this again.
And you know what else, Jim? I just want to say this to our Christian friends, you know, just to call it as it is and say it straight out, you know, you guys are worshiping one Jew. That's a mistake. You should be worshiping every single one of us because we all die for your sins every single day. And that's exactly what's going on here. Yeah. We're all God's firstborn, and we're dying for your sins right now because the Jewish people in the land of Israel are the bulwark against the orcs. Okay? The orcs are coming not to a theater near you, but to your home.
All right. So we're going to use this to help set up and go into the teachings of the son of perdition again. So one of the key attributes of the son of perdition is the desire to be worshiped as a savior. The son of perdition wants to be worshiped as being the most high, being Yahweh. The son of perdition has placed his imagery of himself all through our belief system, all through the descendants of Israel. That's what the prophecy of Apostle Paul revealed. Are we not seeing the images of the son of perdition among us? Are we not seeing the images of the son of perdition among us? Let's go to 2 Thessalonians, starting at chapter 2, verse 4. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. So we see how the falling away is going to work hand in hand with seeing and the revealing of who? The son of perdition. So this is a difference between the antichrist versus the son of perdition. Because even at this time, during the time of the Apostle Paul, the disciples and those guys, the son of perdition was not revealed. But the antichrist, plural, among them were being exposed on a regular basis. And it never stopped being exposed. It's still being exposed to this day. So let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called Elohim, or that is worshipped, so that he as Yahweh sitteth in the temple of Yahweh, showing himself that he is Yahweh. Now, that image of Caesar Borgia, who is it? Is it from among our community or outside our community? The images that we see within the church, like that false Star of David, where did it come from? Did it come from within our community or outside our community? Did it come from a specific group of people? Now we're starting to get an idea of the son of perdition, because the son of perdition is going to, as we see here, exalted himself above all that is called Elohim, right? Or that is worshipped, so that he as Yahweh sitteth in the temple of Yahweh, showing himself that he is Yahweh. Now we're starting to see a distinction between the son of perdition and the antichrist. We're seeing the differences between the two. And we're going to identify the son of perdition again. with Scripture. So the son of perdition was not revealed during 70 AD, which was the beginning of sorrows. We covered this last night in terms of the beginning of sorrows, right? That whole prophecy that the Messiah had given, that was the prophecy of 70 AD, the destruction of Israel, the destruction of the temple, and some of the other historical buildings among the Israelites. That's what 70 AD, or should I say the beginning of sorrows, that's what that was about. And then when we look at the Great Tribulation, as I stated before, the Great Tribulation, we've been in the Great Tribulation. We didn't just start going into the Great Tribulation. What was the Transatlantic World War? Where 100+ million of our ancestors were raped, kidnapped, and forced into slavery. What was that? It was a world war. What about the 15 to 20 million that King Leopold murdered? See, we have to come from up under that deception of the very people that have been teaching or superimposing their understanding or their writing or acknowledgement of history on us. So the son of perdition was not revealed during 70 AD, right? Was not revealed at the beginning of sorrows. And that's right, the Arabic slave trade, that was the precursor to the transatlantic, right? The Arabic war that they declared on our people, the wandering shepherds, was the precursor to the transatlantic world war. It set that up. So we cannot let our history, the facts, be what? Swept under the rug. But yet we see all kinds of reminders of tragedies and events of other cultures, but ours is swept up under the rug. Why is that other cultures is called the war and all kinds of other labels, but when it comes to ours, it's dumbed down, it's watered down? But anyway, so who is the son of perdition? Is he the same as the Antichrist? No. Is Daniel chapter 7 prophesying about the coming of the son of perdition or the Antichrist? I'll say it again. Is Daniel 7 prophesying the coming of the son of perdition or the Antichrist? Because when we go into these prophetic spaces, right? When we go into these prophetic spaces, these end time prophecy discussions, see, when you start understanding the prophecies from a Eurocentric perspective, they're going to put Antichrist on everything, right? They're going to lump everything together to make it harder for you to understand. Ultimately, having them, our oppressors, included on the good side of the judgment that the Most High is going to bring about to all that have attacked his people or enslaved his people. So is Daniel chapter 7 prophesying the coming of the son of perdition or the Antichrist? Let's go here. Let's go to Daniel chapter 7, right? I'm going to start at verse 23 because this chapter starts out with highlighting the four beasts. We're not dealing with the Antichrist. We're dealing with the four beasts. But starting at verse 23, we're highlighting a particular beast. Now, I know when we look at these beasts, many would take and describe these beasts as being connected to Assyria and Babylonians, the Persians and all that. No, we're taking it a different approach to it, because keep in mind, these prophecies, and this is how many try to force their eschatology over and superimpose it over those that are understanding the scriptures. Man, there's so many different variations of eschatology. In Christian eschatology, that's what they will teach you. But when you really study the scriptures, you'll see how each one of those beasts are parallel to the countries of today, starting with the first beast that was revealed, When you read it in its entirety and you do your studies, that's clearly describing the United States separation from Great Britain. Great Britain, the lion that had wings and the wings separated itself and stood on its feet as a man. Uncle Sam. That's the Revolutionary War. Anyway, but nevertheless, let's deal with the fourth beast here. Daniel chapter 7, starting at verse 23. And I encourage you guys, I did a lesson on the four beasts. So you can look at it in the, go to my previous lives a few months ago. And I'm going to get back to getting really continue to walk through the book of Jeremiah and some of the prophets so we can revisit some of the prophecies that many of our brothers and sisters, starting from the church, have been taught incorrectly. But let's start at verse 23. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse, Shana, from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. Man, are we not seeing and witnessing that today? And I'm going to give clarity on that. Are we not witnessing that today by a specific group of people? So let's look at this word diverse, and I'll explain this, what I just pointed out in a second here. Shana, right? It means, now, of course, this is Israeli when you see the A sound or the Shava. So it'll be Shena or Shena. Well, I just said it. Shena, try to shorten up the Shava right here. But anyway, it's still, whether you say it short or long, but it's still what? Shena, right? All right. But anyway, but we see here it says to alter, change. And we see change, alter in the entry number 1. In other words, these beasts have the attributes of altering, changing, manipulating things. That's what diverse means in this text from a Hebraic school of thought: altering, changing, manipulation. Isn't that the spirit of Hasatan, the prince of this air? So let's go to the etymological dictionary of diverse. And this is a key definition I want to highlight, a key entry I want to highlight. It says different in kind, not alike, essentially different. We see term different ways, disagreeable, unkind, hostile. So guess what? We know that this beast is going to always be in disagreement. It's going to be unkind, hostile. But notice here a key entry that I want to highlight: including and promoting persons of previously underrepresented minority identities. Let me see that again. The sense of including and promoting persons of previously underrepresented minority identities. Now, us being the people of the book, that has been truly underrepresented. But are they not representing themselves as being the people of the book? Still dealing with the fourth beast. Still dealing with this fourth beast. So who is this beast? Who is this beast that will operate under the spirit of altering, manipulating, right? Altering, changing, and manipulation. Who is this beast? Let me give you again an example. And I know I played this clip over and over again, but let me give you an example of how crafty this beast is of altering, changing, and manipulating. Let me play this again so that way you guys can understand.
So a little over 1,000 years ago, as Jewish people scattered around the world had now immigrated in Europe and now were living in the Rhineland in Germany, they looked at the name Gomer in Genesis 10, and they connected Gomer with Germany. So they took on the identity of the name Ashkenaz. It has nothing to do with Ashkenaz in the Bible, which is a descendant of Japhet. It's just a name that was taken. Okay, it's that simple. Just like my last name Brown doesn't refer to the color of my skin or anything else. It was shortened from a Russian name when my grandfather came over at Ellis Island. The name got shortened to Brown. It's just a name. That's all it is. So the idea that Ashkenazi Jews are descended from Japhet is a myth, 100% false.
Now, does that fall right in alignment what I just described to you about this particular beast? Who is this beast that will operate under the spirit of altering, changing, and manipulation? Manipulating facts. Now, family, I want to just encourage everyone. I know that this can be, some upsetting, or this things can rub you a certain way hearing the manipulation, but let's be respectful in the chat. Let's not engage into the name calling, because remember, we're surrounded by a cloud of witnesses. We want to make sure that even though we don't agree with this stuff that we see them doing, but let's not stoop to certain levels and do name calling and things like that, because people are watching what we do and are looking for any and everything that they can do to shut down what we are doing. All right, so let's be respectful, so that way we don't jeopardize this channel, because we can, you guys could post comments that could be very, as far as getting into the name calling and all that, and YouTube can shut this channel down or put strikes on the channel. So I just want to encourage you guys, let's be respectful, even in our disagreement, because it's all about us building together. It's all about us upholding the spirit of Yahweh. We don't want to stoop down to the levels of our oppressors. All right. So let's continue. So who is this beast that will operate under the spirit of altering, changing, which includes including and promoting persons of previously underrepresented minority identities? Who is they? Who is this beast? Who are the people within this system? So let's go to verse 24 and get an idea. Let's really bring this together. So the 10 horns, right? This is Daniel chapter 7, verse 24. You guys remember this, but some of you guys remember this, but this is a refresher to some, but it's new to others. So, but let's still go through it. The 10 horns out of the kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them. And he shall be diverse. There we see that word again. He shall be what? Diverse. In other words, manipulation, altering, changing. From the first, he shall subdue what? The 3 kings. He shall subdue the 3 kings. And this is still dealing with the 4th beast. When you see the number 10, this makes me think about the 10 Sephira. This makes me think about Judaism. Not getting into the specifics of that, because I don't think I have the if I have the clip up, I'll play it real quick. If not, we'll pass over that. Let me see here, because I think I took it down. Actually, let me play it here, and I'll show you why. When I see the 10 horns, I think of the 10 Sephira, right? And let me play this video real quick.
The 10 Sephirot. One popular interpretation shows these characteristics as a map of God's body. Kabbalists believe that if they can understand God's anatomy, they can learn how his powers work. These ancient drawings reveal that God's body is similar to humans. The top symbolizes God's head, which is the source of will, wisdom, and understanding. Below that are symmetrically arranged organs and limbs, representing love, power, beauty, eternity, and splendor. The most unusual part of the diagram contains sensual imagery. The 9th part of God, called the foundation, is the phallus, or procreative life force of the universe. But according to the Sephirot, God also has female components. The final element, often called Shekinah, was depicted as the feminine half of God.
All right, so that's why when this comes to mind, when I see 10 horns, I think of Judaism. But we can actually throw all the religious systems of man under this 4th beast. Very manipulative. right? Altering, because it wasn't just the Roman Catholic, the Judaism, it was Roman Catholics, it was Islam. All these religious systems were used to change and alter our identity. All right, so let's go ahead and get back into it. So it says, and the 10 horns out of the kingdoms of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue the 3 kings. And so when we look at subdue, it means to depress, sink, humiliate, bring down, be lower, bring lower, lay lower, make lower, put lower. So this beast is going to humble the 3 kings. It's going to humiliate. It's going to bring down the 3 kings. So who is this diverse beast who shall subdue the 3 kings? We covered this, but just give me some scripture here. Here's the 3 kings, 2 Kings chapter 3, verse 7, gives us the answer. So it says here, and he went and sent to Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, saying, the king of Moab hath rebelled against me. Wilt thou go with me against Moab to battle? And he said, I will go up, and I am as thou art, my people as thy people, and my horses as thy horses. And he said, which way shall we go up? And he answered, the way through the wilderness of Edom. Verse 9. So the king of Israel went, and the king of Judah, and the king of Edom. So we see the 3 kings. That's the northern kingdom, the southern kingdom, and of course the king of the Edomites. That's who this beast subdued and embarrassed. All right. Let me fast forward. So the 3 kings are the kings, as I pointed out, the king of Israel, Judah, and Edom. So let's go back to Daniel chapter 7. Let's highlight verse 25. And he shall speak great words. Who is the he? See, this is where many will take this passage and say this is the antichrist shall speak great words. No, we're still dealing with this beast. This beast. And when we understand this beast, this is when we start understanding the number of man, 666. That is the system of man. Those 3 6s is the system of man. The 6th letter represents the day that man was created, the 6th day. So he shall speak great words. This is dealing with this beast. These religious systems, are they not speaking great words against the Most High and wear out the true people, the holy people of the Most High, and think to change times and laws? And they shall be given into his hand until a time and the dividing of time. See, we have to get out of just thinking about the Gregorian calendar. That's the one that, I hear over and over again. Oh, he's going to change the Shabbat. Oh, no, it's more than that. It says change times. That's plural, and laws. Plural. It's more to that. It says he shall speak great words against the Most High. Great words. Let's see what it says, what it means from a Hebraic school of thought. It says a word, command, discord, or discourse rather. So this beast is going to create so much discourse through communication. We see it playing out over and over again, even today, with this whole thing that's going on over with the Israelis. And so when we do the etymological dictionary definition of discourse, notice what it says. Process of understanding, reasoning, thought, a running about, conversation, reasoning, to run about, run to and fro. Doesn't that sound like the characteristics of Hasatan, going to and fro, trolling, seeking whom he can devour by way of what? Conversation. So when we look at wear out from a Hebrew school of thought, it means to fail, to wear out, decay, consume, use up completely. How many times have these different groups have used up our community? They continue to use up our community, and we keep falling into it. We keep allowing these communities to use us up and then toss us aside. Have they not been doing that to our community over and over again. It says to wear out by use up completely. Look at entry number 2, to harass constantly. Are we not under harassment constantly as being the true people of Israel? To wear out by use up completely. Are you guys not tired of seeing people use our community, get what they want out of it, and then toss us aside? Have you noticed that they always attach themselves to whatever things that we have going on? The civil rights movement. They done hijacked the civil rights movement. They hijacked the laws that's associated with it. They're actually using the civil rights movement, the laws that was passed against us. Have you noticed that the spirit of, when we look at the son of perdition, as well as the antichrist, they'll have us not even wanting to trust organizations that have come up within our community. Contrary to what many think and believe, not everyone was on board with the civil rights organization, the NAACP. Not everyone was on board with the Black Panthers. Not everyone was on board with the things that Malcolm X was doing. Not everyone within our community was on board. Why? Because media had painted a picture back in the 50s and 60s. Anyone that was going against the establishment, so to speak, the good old boys, they were called communists. Today, we see the word anti-Semitic. The civil rights movement, Martin Luther King and those guys, they were called communists. Malcolm X, they were referred to as communists. Look it up. The Black Panthers, those guys, they were viewed as communists. Because communists or communism was the buzzword during that time. Because of the fear of the Russians, as far as the war at that time. Everything that we've done have gotten hijacked by other communities. Just like what I just shared with you guys. With Amari Stoudemire. Use that as the opportunity to go after who? Black Lives Matter. That's why you hear this Jewish organization down in Atlanta making it clear that the young Negroes from our community is a threat to their what? Their agenda.
The major problem of Israel is with the young generation of the black community. Black Lives Matter starts there. I had last week sit-down dinner at my house with all the people which are considered the leadership of the black community.
See, they're making it plain. Making it public now. Are we not seeing the son of perdition being revealed to us right now? We see the falling away. We got samples of the falling away. But are we not seeing the son of perdition being bold in their stance? Come on, let's keep it going. So this beast will create through manipulation, will create so much discourse through media that many will become worn out, will be good for nothing, and will completely give up. Let me say that again. This beast will create through manipulation so much discourse, and excuse the typo, I didn't spell check this, not just spell check, but check the grammar and everything. So much discourse through media that many will become worn out, be good for nothing, give up. Think about it. Many of us are worn out, whether it's directly or indirectly, because most of our brothers and sisters not even paying attention to what's going on over there. They're caught up in gossip or what's happening to Lori Harvey, what's happening with Papoose and all that other stuff. They're caught up with those discussions. They caught up with things that are trivia. They're not really paying attention to this stuff right here. Why? Because many are just worn out, have been worn out by this stuff. So now they redirected their attention elsewhere. So who is the son of perdition? Well, we're going to walk this through. So in order to understand the son of perdition, we have to what? Understand the prophecy of Gog and Magog. So where are they today? We're going to answer these questions. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 38, and we're going to start at verse 1. And we're going to break this down. This is a refresher for some of you guys, but I'm telling you, family, if you get these things down, then you can properly understand the prophecies. Things will begin to open up, and you'll begin to see things according to the spirit of Yahweh, not according to muscle memory by these systems of Judaism, these systems of Catholicism, these systems of Christianity, these systems of Islam, these religious systems. Right now, many of us are struggling with muscle memory of how we've been taught to approach the text. All right, so the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith Yahweh Elohim, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses, horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Notice it here. Notice some of these African countries that is in support of Gog Magog. We see the Persians, we see Ethiopian, we see Libya. It says with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togomar, of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So we were told to what? Be prepared. Family, we got to be prepared. Things are changing all around us. Prophecies are being revealed. In other words, rise, abide, accomplish, do the things that the Most High require of us. Clearer, confirm, continue, decree, endure. That's the key. We have to endure all the way to the end, family. We can't fall by the wayside like we're seeing many of our brothers and sisters are doing. And unfortunately, with the brother that I shared with you earlier, many of our brothers and sisters are what? You read inside the comment section of the videos. I'm not saying all, but many of them are supporting him. Get up, make good, perform, rear up, remain, establish. In other words, make stable. All right. So a ruler named Gog will invade Israel. Who is Gog? Who is Magog? Who is Meshech? Who is Tubal? Let's start with Magog, because all of this is going to answer the question. Magog, God, is all going to fall in together. So Magog, right? Region, it's the region of Gog. Let me say that again. Magog is the region of Gog, the second of the sons of Japheth. In Ezekiel, it is the name of a nation, probably some Scythian or Tatar tribe descended from Japheth. Now, why is this important? Let me see if I have enough space to upload this video. And since we mentioned the Scythians, let me see if I have enough space to upload this video. I may or may not, so I'm not sure. But let's see. If I can, I will upload it. If not, then we have to, we'll just explain it another time. All right, let's see if I can upload this video real quick about the Scythians from one of you guys, from you guys' favorite person. As we would say, cracking jokes, the gift that keeps on giving. Let's see here. Hopefully I have enough room. All right, I'm going to upload this, and while it's uploading, then we're going to continue with the lesson. And once the upload is complete, then we'll just get back to what we're doing here. All right, let's see here. dedication. Let's go to video. Oh, no, that's it. The final videos. Let's go to, all right, let's see here. I'm just getting this upload started and then we'll get into it. Let me see. All right. Let me upload these two videos. Hopefully I have enough room. And then I'll show these once we get to that point. All right. While that's uploading, we're going to continue on. And we're going to let someone speak on the Scythians. And we're going to knock that stuff down. I already knocked it down before. But as you see here, Magog, region of Gog, the second son of Japheth. Right. And it goes on to say in Ezekiel, it is the name of a nation, probably some Scythian or Tartar tribe descended from Japheth. They are described as skilled horsemen and expert in the use of the bow. The Latin father Jerome says that this word denotes Scythian nations, fierce and innumerable. So that means that they were so large. It was so many of them, the Scythians. And again, this is important for us to really understand. There, let me see if I can delete a video here so I can upload. Yeah, I'm going to take this one out. Let me delete this video. And now let's see if I can upload it, because I have a lot of videos here. So let's try this again. And we'll play it here in a second. Let's see. All right. All right, did it start? All right, there we go. All right, family, it just started. So we'll play it in a second here. But again, let's get back to it. So let me read this again. It says here, Magog, region of Gog, the second of the sons of Japheth. In Ezekiel, it is the name of a nation, probably some Scythian or Tartar tribe descended from Japheth. And we see here, right, we see Japheth. We see Genesis chapter 10, verse 2. We also see First Chronicles chapter 1, verse 5. We also see Ezekiel 38, verse 2. So it's giving us some idea about Magog, right? But it goes on to say it is the name of a nation, probably some Scythian or Tartar tribe descended from Japheth. They are descended as described as skilled horsemen and expert in the use of the bow. The Latin father Jerome says that this word denotes Scythian nations. So it says Magog denotes what? Scythian nations. Not singular, but plural, Scythian nations, right? And it goes on to say fierce and innumerable. So it's so many of them who live beyond the Caucasus and the lake Maeotis and near the Caspian Sea and spread out even onward to India. Perhaps the name represents the Assyrian Magog or the country Gugu. So not getting into all of that. So Magog is the second son of Japheth. So we see that when we highlighted Magog, we see that the Scythians are connected to Magog. So Magog is the second son of Japheth. Let's go to Genesis chapter 10 and we'll see it here. Starting at verse 2. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshach, Tyrus. All right, so we see Magog right here. We see some key names that cause all kinds of problems for our people here, starting with Gomer, Magog. We see Javan, we see Tubal, we see Meshach. We see a number of nations just under this under Japheth that have caused a number of problems with Israel. But when we see Magog, think about the Scythians, not just Magog, but I'm going to show you the Scythians are connected to some of the other tribes. So according to the Easton's Bible Dictionary, 1894, Magog is also connected to the Scythians, right? And why is this important? Let me play this quick video clip of Dr. Mike Brown. Let's see what he have to say about the Scythians.
So this is a totally different group of people now, right? This nation, this people called Ashkenaz, nothing to do with Israel, nothing to do with Jewish people. Well, who are they? If you will look at virtually every major Bible dictionary, Bible encyclopedia, here's what you'll find. I'm going to read to you, for example, from the Anchor Yale Bible Dictionary, one of the most respected Bible dictionaries, multi-volume. Who is Ashkenaz? Here's what you see. The first descendant of Gomer, who is the first offspring of Japhet in the Table of Nations. In Jeremiah 51:27, Ashkenaz appears along with Ararat and Mini as a kingdom called upon to oppose Babylon. The name is identified with the Neo-Assyrian Ishkuza, who appeared between the Black and Caspian Sea in the 8th and 7th centuries BC, driving out the Cimmerians. And it goes on. Who are they then? For Herodotus, so a famous historian in time before Jesus, these people came to be called the Scythians or Scythians, right? We could read through the rest of that in detail. But this has nothing to do with Israel. This has nothing to do with the Jewish people. This has nothing to do with Ashkenazi Jews today. It was an ancient people called the Scythians or Scythians, and they leave society. They disappear. They're all gone a couple thousand years ago. Oh, here's another Bible dictionary, Erdman's Bible Dictionary, Ashkenaz, the eldest of the three sons of Gomer, the son of Japhet, and the name of a kingdom, referencing these same verses. Most likely it was the Scythian kingdom, and then also referencing Assyrian, so Akkadian, Ishkuza. The connection to the Cimmerian invasions accounts for its relation to Gomer. Aligned themselves with the Mani, the Scythians revolted against Assyria in the 7th century BC, but were afterwards conquered by the Medes and the Persians in 538. They provided continuance of troops for the Persian attack against Babylon. And then after a few hundred years, they're lost from history. So they have zero to do with Israel, zero to do with the Jewish people, zero to do with Ashkenazi Jews today. Zero. You say, well, where did the name Ashkenazi came from? So a little over 1,000 years ago, as Jewish people scattered around the world had now emigrated in Europe and now were living in the Rhineland in Germany, they looked at the name Gomer in Genesis 10, and they connected Gomer with Germany, so they took on the identity of the name Ashkenaz. It has nothing to do with Ashkenaz in the Bible, which is a descendant of Japhet. It's just a name that was taken. Okay, it's that simple. Just like my last name Brown doesn't refer to the color of my skin or anything else. It was shortened from a Russian name when my grandfather came over at Ellis Island. The name got shortened to Brown. It's just a name. That's all it is. So the idea that Ashkenazi Jews are descended from Japhet is a myth, 100% false.
So you heard the double talk, family. He even added saying they disappeared. The source doesn't say anything about them disappearing because I'm reading from the source. See, what he has a tendency of doing is, like when I saw him have his debate and doing his videos, what he has a tendency of doing is writing out his own thoughts in the form of a PowerPoint and presenting that as if it's the actual source. That's what he has a tendency of doing. He's not fully representing the sources that he's making reference to, because I'm reading from the source that he made reference to. He said that the Scythians or Scythians completely disappeared. But that's not true. Who are the Scythians? Scythian, also called Scyth, Saka, or Sake, member of a nomadic people originally of Iranian stock, known from as early as the 9th century BCE, who migrated westward from Central Asia to southern Russia and Ukraine in the 8th and 7th centuries BCE. The Scythians founded a rich, powerful empire centered on what now is Crimea. So again, who are the Scythians? Who are the Scythians? This is coming from academic, right? This is an online source here. Actually, this is one of the things that Dr. Brown made reference to, and some of these guys make reference to about the Scythians, and it makes it clear. Notice what it says here. An analysis of 393 Ashkenazic, Iranian, and Mountain Jews and over 600 non-Jewish genomes. Of course, notice it does have Negroes in here. Genomes demonstrated that Greeks, Romans, Iranians, and Turks exhibit the highest genetic similarity with Ashkenazi Jews. Let me say that again, family. An analysis of 393 Ashkenazic, Iranian, Mountain Jews, and over 600 non-Jewish genomes demonstrated that Greeks, Romans, and Iranians and Turks exhibited the highest genetic similarities with the Ashkenazi Jews. That is a mic drop right there. Saying that the Romans and the Greeks, their DNA is all through the Ashkenazis, all through the Iranians, all through the Mountain Jews, it says, again, over 609 Jewish genomes demonstrated that Greeks, Romans, Iranians, and Turks, right, exhibit the highest genetic similarities with the Ashkenazi Jews. And it goes on to say here at the bottom here, the geographic population structure analysis localized most Ashkenazi Jews along major primeval trade routes in northeastern Turkey, adjacent to primeval villages with names that may be derived from Ashkenaz. Come on, family. Iranian and Mountain Jews were localized along trade routes on the Turkey eastern border. Loss of maternal haplogroups was evident in non-Yiddish speaking Ashkenaz or Ashkenazi Jews. Our results suggest that Ashkenaz, notice what it says, our results suggest that Ashkenazi Jews originated from a Slavo-Iranian confederation. Come on, family. Their own sources is telling you that they did not originate from the territory that they are trying to say that they are from, the very territory that they are occupying. Come on, fam. We cannot make it any plainer than what I just read. But we're not going to stop there. Notice what else it says. It says, our results suggest that the Ashkenazi Jews originated from a Slavo-Iranian confederation, which the Jews called Ashkenazi or Ashkenazic. Notice what it says. An example, what? Scythians. Do you not see that? Let me drop this source inside the comments so you guys can have this at your leisure. But yet, according to Dr. Brown, they disappeared. No, they didn't disappear. They continue to take on other names, to kind of throw the scent off, so to speak. But they're still the same people. They're just not using Scythians. They're using Ashkenaz, which is no coincidence that they're still what? Connected to them. All right. But let me see if I can. Let me move this up. Let me see here. I'm going to copy this link and I'm going to drop it in the comment section for you guys. All right. Oops, that's not what I want to do. Let's drop. I'm going to drop this in the comment section so that way you guys can have it for your records. All right, there it is. Now you guys have it for your records. All right. You have it for your records. All right. So again, it says our results suggest that Ashkenazi Jews originated from a Slavo-Iranian confederation, which the Jews called Ashkenazic, an example, Scythians. Come on, family. We can't get away from it. So who are the Scythians? Let's go to the Anchor Bible Dictionary, Volume 1. Let's see what they say about Ashkenaz. It says, first descendant of Gomer, who is the first offspring of Japheth. In the Table of Nations, in Jeremiah 51:27, Ashkenaz appears along with Ararat and many as a kingdom called upon to oppose Babylon. The name is identified with the Neo-Assyrian Ishkuza. Then it goes on to say, who appeared between the Black and Caspian seas in the 8th and the 7th century BC, driving out the Cimmerians. And it goes on to say, and threatening the Assyrians. For Herodotus, these people came to be called Scythians. The correspondence of the consonants in Ashkenaz, Ishkuzu, and Scythian is obvious, although the reasoning for that, I'm not getting into all that. This is getting into the linguistics, the name itself. All right. But it says here, although cultural associations reach back into the 3rd and 2nd millennium BC, present archaeology or archaeological evidence for a distinctive Scythian culture begins 7th century BC. All right, so this is just giving you more information on there, just even letting us know that the Scythians appears in the doctrines of the Assyrians. That's what it says here. Possibly portrayals of the Scythians on the 9th century reliefs of Ashurnasirpal II. But the first Neo-Assyrian mention of Ishkuzu occurs during the time of Sargon II in the 8th century BC. Driving back the Cimmerians, the Scythians were able to push south to dominate Asia. And then it goes on to say, in Media in the latter part of the 7th century BC. About this time, a Scythian raid against Egypt was stopped by Psammetichus I. And this is highlighted in Herodotus' writings here. For the latter history of the Scythians and the question of their identification with the enemy of the north mentioned in the first part of Jeremiah. And it tells us to see Scythians. All right. So according to the Anchor Bible Dictionary, the Scythians are the descendants of Ashkenaz. They're pretty much the same people. The Anchor Bible Dictionary definition, as far as volume 5, this is what they have to say about the Scythians. Look at what they say about the Scythians. I couldn't highlight all of this here. This is coming from this section here. So we dealt with Ashkenaz, still pointing to the Scythians, but I'm just going to read some of this that you see in the background here. I'm just going to zoom in so you can see this is where I'm getting the information from. This is coming from the actual source. All right. So biblical scholars sometimes associate the Scythians with Ashkenaz and with the bringers of destruction in the prophecies of Jeremiah and Zephaniah. Outside the Hebrew Bible, their reputation for savagery is alluded to in 2 Maccabees chapter 4, verse 47. Notice the key word that we see here. They said savagery. They refer to the Scythians as savages. Why is this important? Why is this important to know this?
It's really unfathomable. And 600, I hope everyone understands, 600 fatalities in Israel, 600 fatalities in Israel, 600 fatalities in Israel. It's really unfathomable. And 600, I hope everyone understands, 600 fatalities in Israel proportionally is like having here 20,000 American fatalities. 20,000 people who are being butchered, massacred by these savage terrorists. It's our 9/11.
So you notice the words that he used, savage. But we see here, let me go back here. We see here outside the Hebrew Bible, their reputation for savagery is alluded to in 2 Maccabees chapter 4, verse 47. And he gives some other sources here. 3rd Maccabees 7:5, 4th Maccabees 10:7. All right. Colossians chapter 3, verse 11. So these guys wasn't completely wiped away. They didn't just disappear and fall off the face of the earth. It says the Scythians, called Ashguze by the Assyrians, apparently first appeared in written history in the annals of Esarhaddon, and seemed to be centered at that time in what is today northwest Iran. According to Herodotus, the Scythians ruled over all of the Near East for 28 years after entering the area from the north. Traditionally, this period of rule is assigned to the 7th or 6th century BC. The Scythians continue to be mentioned in the text of the Babylonians, the Persians, the Greeks, Greeks as allies and as enemies through the 4th century BC. All right, so this is just giving us some good information on here to let us know they just didn't disappear, as Dr. Brown suggests. It says here, Scythian presence in the Near East is restricted to the Crimea and the shores of the Black Sea. Ovid records Scythian life in the 1st century AD. Wait a minute, so they didn't just disappear. The Scythians occupied what is called the modern-day Russia and Ukraine. So there's another group of Russians who are connected to Russians and the Ukrainians. That is the Khazars. The Jewish community, as we know them, falls under two main groups, Sephardic Jews and Ashkenazi Jews. The Ashkenazis are the Eastern European Jews, which were found in Poland, Russia, Germany, West Asia. This group of Jews make up 90% of the so-called Jews in the world. The Jewish Encyclopedia of 1905 revealed that the main stock of the Jews came from this people known as Khazars or Khazars. Here's their source, Jewish Encyclopedia, volume 4, page 1, right? Khazars, right? A people of Turkish origin whose life and history are interwoven with the very beginnings of the history of the Jews of Russia. So we see the Khazars are connected to Russians. The kingdom of the Khazars was firmly established in most of South Russia long before the foundation of the Russian monarchy. And Dr. Brown just gave us a major nugget when he talked about his grandfather coming from that very territory.
So a little over 1,000 years ago, as Jewish people scattered around the world had now immigrated in Europe and now were living in the Rhineland in Germany, they looked at the name Gomer in Genesis 10, and they connected Gomer with Germany. So they took on the identity of the name Ashkenaz. It has nothing to do with Ashkenaz in the Bible, which is a descendant of Japhet. It's just a name that was taken. Okay, it's that simple. Just like my last name Brown doesn't refer to the color of my skin or anything else. It was shortened from a Russian name when my grandfather came over at Ellis Island. The name got shortened to Brown. It's just a name. That's all it is. So the idea that Ashkenazi Jews are descended from Japhet is a myth. 100% false.
All right, so it goes on to say Jews have lived on the shores of the Black and Caspian Seas since the 1st century of the Common Era. Historical evidence points to the region of the Ural as the home of the Khazars. Among the classical writers of the Middle Ages, they were known as the Khazars or Khazars or Akhadzirs, or Akatirs, and in the Russian chronicles, right? And I didn't put it all here, but you get the gist of it, family. Khazars, the Scythians, are still the same people. They're still here today. And when we go to Meshech, notice what we see about Meshech. Regarded Meshech and Tubal, some assign a Russian identification, connecting these two nations with the modern Russian cities of Moscow and Tobolsk. Northern powers headed by Russia all agree. The reference to Meshech and Tubal, in other words, Moscow and Tobolsk, is a clear mark of identification. Thus, the name Moscow derives from the tribal name Meshech, and Tobolsk, the name of the principal state, from Tubal. All right. And it goes on to say about at the end, it says, this view is partly based on the similarity of the sound in these names and their close proximities to Rosh, in other words, Russia. If this is so, the name Meshech and Tubal points directly to Russia being identified as Moscow, the capital of modern Russia. But it goes on to say Meshech and Tubal would then be names standing for Russia in Europe and Asia, right? Then we go down here where it says the ethnologists, historians who track the migrations of people tells us after the flood, the Japhanites migrated from Asia Minor to the north beyond Caspian and Black Seas. They settled in the area of Rosh, which is Russia, that we know today as Russia. And it goes on to say here, it says Wilhelm Gesenius, I hope I pronounced it correctly. Yeah. But anyway, the world-class Hebrew scholar whose Hebrew lexicon has never been surpassed, said Gog is undoubtedly the Russians. He also identified Meshech as Moscow, the capital of modern Russia. Tubal he identified as Tobolsk. The earliest province in Asiatic Russia to be colonized. All right. It goes on to say Meshech was founder of Mashki, a barbarous people who dwelt in the Mashkinian mountains. He went on to say the Greek name Mashki, derived from the Hebrew Meshech, is the source of the name for the city of Moscow. Come on, family. We cannot get away from this. And we could confirm this also from this source here, Testament of the Grand Princess of Moscow. I'm not going to go through all of this, but you get the gist of it, right? The Testaments of the Grand Princess of Moscow, and it's still dealing with Meshech, right? Connecting it to Russia. And when we go to the Eastern Bible Dictionary, let's see what they say about Meshech. It says here, right, still dealing with Japheth, the sixth son, but it goes on to say they were in all probability the Moshki, right? We see that still tying into who? Russia. Of people inhabiting Moshian mountains between the Black and Caspian seas. So we see you can't get around this. It says the Moshki or Moshi, however you want to pronounce the word, subdued, but it seems probable that a large number of them crossed the Caucasus Range and spread over the northern steppes, mingling with the who? Scythians. We see the Scythians again, still tying into who? The Russians, still tying into the Ukrainians. They became known as Muskovs and gave that name to the Russians, or to the Russian nations and its ancient capital, which they are still generally known throughout the East. All right, let's see here what we got here. I'm not going to go into that. So we've identified Magog, we identified Meshech, we identified Tubal. These are Russian territories. And Dr. Brown said his ancestors came from the Russian territories. You guys heard with your own ears. I don't want to play it again. I played it enough. All right. I played it enough. I played it more than enough. All right. So let me give some shout outs real quick, and then we'll get back into it. We got another 30 minutes that I'm going to go, and we got a lot of information we're going to cover. I want to say shout outs to Be Created for Yahweh. Thank you for the love and support, family. Let's show some love and support for Be Consecrated for Yahweh. Also, let's show some love for Walk in Truth. Let's show some love for Walk in Truth, family. Really appreciate the love and support. Cheya or Sheya, I hope I pronounced it correctly, and forgive me if I didn't. Let's show some love to her as well. And Michael J. Let me see it. I pull it up here. Michael J. Ducommon. I want to say shout outs to you as well. So, family, let's show some love for all of those that have contributed to the lesson tonight, and just over the course of having this channel. I just really appreciate the love and support from you guys. Really appreciate it. So, family, let's show them some love again. All right, Michael J. Ducommon, Shea, Walk in Truth, and also Be Concentrated for Yahweh. So let's show them some love, family. And again, thank you guys for the love and support. All right. Thank you guys for the love and support. Okay, so let's see here. So according to this prophecy, African countries are going to become their allies. We covered that. So let's deal with some other descendants of the son of perdition that will become allies, right? When we go to Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 6 and 7, notice what it says here. It says Persians, Ethiopians, Libya. But when we go down to verse 6, it says Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah, all right, of the north quarters, and all of his bands, and many people with thee. All right. So is Gomer really the son of perdition? I'm going to tell you no. It's not Gomer. It's beyond Gomer. Right? And I'm going to prove it here. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, starting at verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, all right, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called Elohim, or that is worship, so that he as Yahweh sitteth in the temple of Yahweh, showing himself that he is Yahweh. So who is this son of perdition who opposed and exalteth himself above all that is called God, so to speak? G-O-D. So let's see in Freemasonry. Some of you guys may remember this from my Freemasonry series that I did, exposing Freemasonry, but this is coming from the Encyclopedia of Freemasonry. And let's see what it says here. It says God, G-O-D, the initials of Gomer, Azdabar. So this is promoting the worship of who? Gomer. It is a singular coincidence and worthy of thought that the letters composing the English name of deity should be the initials of the Hebrew word wisdom, strength, and beauty, the three great pillars or metaphorical supports of Masonry. They seem to present almost the only reason that an reconciled a Mason to use the initial G-O-D in its conspicuous suspension in the east of the lodge in the place of the delta. The incident seemed to be more than an accident. It's intentional. That letter G that you see on those Masonic symbols is the worship of Gomer, right here. This is what you see. Let me zoom it in. Let me zoom it in so you guys can see. Y'all recognize that? Doesn't that also look like the Star of David? See, they have that same image, that same star, because if we put the line across here, there's the six-pointed star. All we need is just to put a line right here, and this would be the completion of the six-pointed star. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the points there. That's the so-called Star of David. That's in so many churches that even many of our brothers and sisters can't get away from that hex, that hexagram, caught in that hex, right? So again, that Freemasonry promotes the worship of Gomer. It promotes the worship of Gomer and his descendants. So this is to promote the worship of Gomer. You'll see it's filled with Jewish mysticism, Freemasonry. So Freemasonry promotes the worship of Gomer, as I just pointed out. So why is this important to know? Genesis chapter 10, verse 2. The sons of Japheth, we see here Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshach, and Tiras. All right, so Gomer, well, I'm not going to get into all this, but we see that he's connected to the Cimmerians. All right, so let's fast forward because I don't want to get into all this, saving time. So why is this important to know? I just highlighted it. When we go to verse 3 of chapter 10 of Genesis, it says we have Gomer, but then the sons of Gomer, we see Ashkenaz. So Togarmah is actually, it says here, Togarmah is actually a son of Gomer. And we saw his name right there under Ezekiel chapter 38. So the sons of Gomer, we see Ashkenaz. It said Gomer and all his bands. His bands of who? The Ashkenaz, Riphath. We see Togarmah, the sons of Javan. We see Elisha. We see Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. So Gomer is the father of Ashkenaz. And again, 90% of the Jewish community is descendants of Ashkenaz, as I just proved it. So the religion of fraternities and sororities promotes the worship of Gomer. Yes, fraternities and sororities is a religion. It's part of that system of man. So is Ashkenaz the son of perdition? I say no. The son of perdition is actually Japheth. Because when we're looking at Ashkenaz, when we look at the descendants of Japheth, guess what? We see multiple descendants of Japheth that are what? Causing problems for Israel, as we just identified. We identified Magog. Magog is not a son of Gomer. It's a brother, his brother. Those are dealing with who? The Russians. So key biblical prophecies of the son of perdition. Genesis chapter 9, verse 27. Elohim shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. So Gomer is simply a son. So we see here, this is the prophecy. So we see here, Elohim, the Most High, is going to allow Japheth to go into, to do these things that he's carrying, allowed him to carry out. Deceive, afflict, take over. All right. Sort of pretty much like how the Messiah warned Peter. Hey, you know what? Hasatan wants to sift you as wheat. And he just said, hey, I'm praying that you don't fail. I'm praying that you don't fail. Didn't stop him, but say, hey, you got to go through, Peter. You got to endure. But anyway, Gomer is simply a son of the son of perdition, Japheth. Let me say that again. Gomer is simply the son of the son of perdition, Japheth. Excuse the typo. The Ashkenazis or Ashkenaz is simply a grandson of the son of perdition, Japheth. The son of perdition is the progenitor of a key son outside. Right? Outside of the of Ashkenaz. Here's another son. Here's another person here. Right? Let me highlight here. We see here the son of Japheth. We see Gomer, Magog, Madai, but also we see another brother here of Gomer, Magog. We see Meshach. We already identified these Russian territories, but let's look at Javan. That's why Japheth is the son of perdition. When we go to Javan, let's see who Javan is, or Yawan, because there was no Va in ancient Hebrew. But let's see what it says here. Who are these people? It says here, Javan, the name of the son of Joktan, and of the race, an example, Ionians, an example, the Greeks, descended from him. So this is the progenitor of the Greeks. Let's go to Javan in the Eastern Bible Dictionary. Give me some sources here. The fourth son of Japheth, whose descendants settled in Greece, an example, Ionia, which bears the name of Javan in Hebrew. Alexander the Great is called the king of Javan. This word was universally used by the nations of the East as the generic name of the Greek race. So we see the Greeks. We see the Greeks, family. The Greeks done did a number on our people. Josephus talked about how the Greeks was hijacking other people, cultures, and identities. So when we go to this key prophecy of Joel chapter 3, notice what it says. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians. So we dealing with the Egyptians. We dealing with the Edomites. We see how the enemies of Israel sold Judah, which is Judah, the tribe, the Benjamites, right? And also the Levites. But then when we go to the children of Jerusalem, that is the remnant of all the tribes, all 12 tribes. Have ye sold unto the Grecians, Yawan, that ye might remove them far from the border. So let's identify another one. Let's deal with Kittim. This is still dealing with the descendants of Japheth. Numbers chapter 24, verse 23. Let's start here. And he took up his parable and said, Alas. This is dealing with, what's his name? Balaam, right? This is dealing with Balaam. Alas, who shall live when Elohim doeth this? And it says here, verse 24 is key. And ships shall come from the coast of Chittim and shall afflict Ashur, and shall afflict who? Eber or Ibar. That's the Hebrews. That's the Israelites. And he also shall perish forever. So Kittim shall afflict the Hebrews with their ships. Who is Kittim? Genesis chapter 10, telling you that the very passages that we were told to disregard is very important. The sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah. Then we have here the sons of Javan, right? Kittim is a son of who? Javan. We say in the sons of Javan, Elisha, we see Tarshish, Kittim, Dodanim. So we see Kittim is under who? Javan. So Kittim is connected to who? The Greeks. These are Romans connected to the Greeks. Because when we look up here, notice what it says. An example, who? Greeks or the Romans. That's why their religions are pretty much the same. That's why when you study Greek mythology, it's synonymous to Roman mythology. We see Kittim is who? The Romans, still connected to who? The Greeks. And then when we go to the Eastern Bible Dictionary, we see here the name of a branch of the descendants of Javan. A branch of the descendants of Javan. So we know that the Romans is still connected to who? The Greeks. And notice what it says here. Balaam foretold, Numbers 24:24, that ships shall come from the coast of Chittim and afflict Eber. In other words, the Hebrews. Daniel prophesies 11:30, Daniel 11:30, that the ships of Chittim will come against the king of the north. Still tying into what? Deuteronomy 28:68, the ships. It probably denotes Cyprus, whose ancient capital was called Kidion by the Greeks. But we still dealing with who? The sons of Japheth. The nations were guilty of capturing and selling Judah as slaves. So when we go back to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 6, it says, remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things. So Paul is making it clear. He explained this to them a number of times. They had this discussion more than once. This is not the first time in this letter. And now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. We are in the time of the son of perdition being revealed. And we can stop right here, family. I know I gave you guys a lot of information, but I really wanted to go right back over the sons of perdition to show you that Japheth is the son of perdition. And we saw how all of his, many of his descendants tie right into it, whether it's directly one of his immediate sons or his grandsons. I want to say shout outs to Karen Ward. Thank you for the love and support. And since we have a little time here, we got about 10 to 15 minutes to play with. I'm going to drop the link inside the comment section. And I'm going to say, family, if you want to jump on, let's be respectful and let's stay on topic. You know, I really don't want to deal with anything outside of the topic because sometimes we can get way out in left field with the conversations. And I don't want the conversations to be a distraction to what we already covered tonight. So let's show some love, family, again for Karen Ward. But let me drop this into the chat real quick. All right. So again, I want to thank Karen, Sister Karen, for the love and support. I want to say, thank Brother Michael for the love and support. I want to thank Shaya for the love and support. I want to thank Walk in the Truth. I want to thank you for the love and support. Really appreciate you. And also want to thank Be Concentrated for Yahweh. I want to thank you for the love and support. And family, let's show them some love for their contribution tonight. So I just dropped the link inside the comment section. All right. And I'm going to open it up here briefly here. All right. So again, family, I want to go through this detailed lesson so that way you can understand the distinction between the son of perdition and the antichrist. The son of perdition is coming from outside, right? The antichrist, we have to start from within. Let me say that again. The antichrist, we have to start from within. The son of perdition, outside. Japheth, the son of Japheth. Start with the son of Japheth. The son of perdition, not son of perdition, the antichrist, we have to start from within the community. All right. So really appreciate it, family. We'll give it another second here. All right. So far, I don't see anyone jumping in. I'll post the link one more time. And if not, we will wrap it up. And again, I hope this blesses you guys because, again, family, it's a lot of information. I understand, the errors because, hey, I'm not going to make it seem like I know it all because I don't know it all. We all still walking this thing out. But I believe if we just allow the scriptures, to be taught in the proper context, free from us adding whatever thoughts that we want to add, we can actually get more of an accurate understanding of the text and line it up with scripture. And so, and make it a point, not trying to superimpose what we want the scripture to say. All right. So with that being said, I don't see anyone jumping on, but I want to say this, family. I want to thank you guys for the love and support. And we're going to keep pressing. We're going to keep pressing forward. Got some additional videos I'm going to upload. I'm going to drop part 2 to Zionist verse. Got a special some information I'm going to share that's still going to tie into what we taught about tonight. So with that being said, in the words of the Most High that he gave to Moses in Exodus chapter 14, starting at verse 13 and 14, he said to Moses to tell the people of Israel, "Fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of Yahweh." These Egyptians that you see here today, they will not have power over you again. You will never have to see them again. You will never have to deal with them again. The Most High will fight for you. But here's the kicker, family. We have to hold our peace. In other words, the Hebrew word that's in that text is charash, which means be quiet, calculated silence. Can't go back, can't stay here. Keep moving forward. Shalom.
Listen, Genesis chapter 11, verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this back, Genesis 14, verse 13, Abraham steps on the scene. Being a descendant of Shem, which is a fact, means Abraham too was black. Abraham, born in the city of a black man, called Nimrod, grandson of Ham. Ham had 4 sons. One was named Canaan. Here, let me just
Jacob had 12 sons, for real, and these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10, these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10.